got there.
It's like Paul was saying, it's like, wanted, dead or alive, $10,000 bounty. And the person's just like, oh, okay, here's $10,000. It's like, what? No, what? What? No. That's not how that works.
Yeah, you don't get to pay your own thing.
Yeah. You can in Red Dead Redemption 2. I know.
So that's not how bounties work. Of course, not realism.
We're making fun of it.
Pardon me.
So this whole like gearbox thing is ridiculous. So like,
Yeah.
Great. So we're good.
Yeah, that was great.
yeah, we're good. Heather, we stopped recording. My concern is the whole like, it's pretty clear from Calendar's like allegations that he did not see this USB stick.
Yeah.
He's just supposing that there was underage pornography on it. And like, I'm not giving Randy Pitchford a pass. And the USB stick also had like sensitive company documents, which is like a bad thing to lose, and it wasn't password protected. I'm not giving Randy Pitchford a pass, but like, if you want to keep pornography for your own use on a USB stick, that's not inherently bad. You probably shouldn't keep it on a USB stick where you've also got company secrets and then leave it at a medieval times.
That's one of the funniest parts of it to me.
But like, I feel like this whole like pornography like thing has like overshadowed that there's some serious financial allegations being made.
Well, yeah, it seems like Calendar's lawsuit is intended to do that, because one of the things I mentioned, one of the things that really like made my eyebrow raise was that part of his thing was he said, you know, Randy Pitchford has embezzled $12 million from Gearbox. Dramatic pause. Money that should have been spent developing Borderlands. And it's like,
wait, hold on.
Fuck off, buddy. That's nerd bait. That's you trying to...
That's right.
It's like,
Borderlands could have been better.
Let's get the one unanimously liked thing that Gearbox has made. And then be like, look what evil Randy's doing to your Borderlands. It's like, that has no bearing on the legality of what you are saying.
Yeah, my issue with this is just like some of this seems like designed to like generate headlines and titillation and stuff. And it's like, hold on, there's a lot to unpack here about this whole porn thing and this like Peacock theater.
They didn't have USB ports in medieval times. No wonder he forgot it. Calendar's trying to misdirect. I agree.
Yeah, but I feel like that there's a lot, and like, here's the thing. Even if it turns out that Calendar is just trying to smear Randy Pitchford and he had some of his own stuff on there, I don't, like, watch porn, watch legal porn, hopefully watch ethical porn. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your time. Like, don't...
It's just USB sticks are not that expensive. Have two.
Yeah, like, but here's the deal. Like, if this is the case and, like, you know, there's, like, you know, the company's making people hundreds of $1,000s loans and like people are misusing company credit cards. I feel like this still doesn't look like, I still think there's a big issue with financial irresponsibility going here. Right?
I mean, that's something that Gearbox has been gotten in trouble for already several times for other games.
My favorite part of the story, honestly, is that he was watching porn and saw female ejaculation, and in his position as an aficionado of performance magic, went, how does she do this illusion?
And
what's the secret to this trick?
Yeah, the mind boggles as to what this particular, you know, obviously this particular video is not like been made publicly available.
No, we have no idea what it is, but you know, I like to imagine that there's all kinds of things that he's just never seen before, and he's like, what is this?
Like, yeah,
Look at this sleight of hand.
I don't know. I have no comment. Like, the thing is, yeah, it's just really weird because, like, to a certain extent, Gearbox has been, like, in their response, because Ars Technica was like, we want comment, and Gearbox was like, we don't think that this lawsuit has any merit whatsoever, blah, 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 blah. Also, we direct you to this episode of a podcast, and this is what was said, and, like, then they're like, listen to the podcast, they're like, holy shit, he's telling the story for laughs, but it's basically what Calendar alleges. Except that Calendar said it was underage porn, and then, like, the clarified factor here is barely legal, which is apparently legal. Because it's barely legal, but that's still across the line. I don't know. It's like some sort of photo finish of legality there.
Once they're 18, it's legal. It's not a photo finish. That's
a very big distinction.
Yeah. Anyway, rewinding to the top of the show, Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, hold on. But I do want to say one more thing about this Gearbox thing. It's very much a case in point, and I do want to point out that Let It Already Run has, like, some ties to them because they've donated prizes to Desert Bus before. They had James up on stage when they were announcing Desert Bus VR.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so we're doing the... I know the former editor of Genie Online, although I didn't know Randy Pitchford. That's Susan Arendt. I didn't know Randy Pitchford owned that magazine.
I also didn't know that Susan worked for
about a year, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, Heather, could you also open the door? Now that we're done, we can open the door.
Not be so cold. Or
Thank
not
you.
Be so hot.
But yeah, we're done recording.
Yeah.
You had a redo on coming up.
Only on the credits.
Yeah.
It's it's the third take.
Yeah, he was a DB VR calling. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So Randy Pitchford owns Genie Online. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So like I was trying to do my best because like the thing is all of this is unproven, all of this is allegation.
Yeah.
You know,
he loves.
This is literally for
magic
the courts to decide.
And like stage magic. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. He's real hard in on that hobby.
So as an alibi, he actually he's really spent a lot of work establishing it as an alibi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, normally it'd be like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah, but it's just like that. Apparently, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, Kingdom Hearts, like I said, they're rolling stuff out so that because the whole game was leaked early, and so the devs have been like, please don't, everyone be cool. But the epilogue, not the end of the game, but the epilogue isn't even, you can't even get it yet, and you won't get it until a day after launch, just in case. And then the day later is a secret movie. Which I guess isn't really a secret, but yeah, they haven't specified what the certain conditions are that must be met in the game, but apparently it's...
Presumably it's
the impression is that it won't be easy.
Presumably it's one of those, if you collect all the whatevers, or kill all the things, there's some sort of extra completionist thing that you
There'll
do.
be definitely some sort of JRPG hard mode thing where it's do the whole thing with never upgrading your weapons or leveling up your characters or ever having any fun whatsoever during your playthrough of the game.
A couple people saying it's going to be the journal. Usually finish the journal. All right, well, we'll find out. And yeah, we'll get to that. Unity, the changes to its terms of service. I saw a lot of people were real annoyed about that.
It's apparently, it's and it's one of these very odd, they changed their terms of service kind of.
Apparently,
it was just kind of they didn't even really announce it in a big way. They were just oh yeah, we're just updating their terms of service. And it was actually a big deal.
Yeah, but apparently now streaming portions of, or running Unity on a cloud service is running portions of the engine on a cloud service isn't allowed, which is a problem because how Spatial OS works is it handles the multiplayer matchmaking or real-time implementation. I'm not a developer, and so I think by extension it needs to run certain game elements on its cloud service. But apparently, this is, a well-used thing, and a lot of people are like, oh, fuck me. What does that mean what if something breaks?
Yep.
Well,
my game.
And they're so, I mean, the general consensus is that Unity is going to be bringing out a thing that is basically a competitor to Spatial OS.
Yeah.
So, but then there's this, they've sort of done this weird thing where they've been no, don't worry. If you're developing something currently using Spatial OS, it's fine, already. Yeah. But just new stuff, which is and Spatial OS is okay. For one thing, it's that's also a terrible assurance, right? If you're a developer and you're using a technology that can't be is never going to be updated ever again, and can't be and is end of life. You still feel really bad. You're still in a bad place.
Yeah, that's not
even
a good
if
place.
What you're working on specifically right now might be okay. You're still in big trouble. Right?
I mean, if they change other things that break other things, you sort of get into a cascade failure of this whole thing needs to be redone. This whole large element of your game is now no longer working, and especially since it's online multiplayer. The point of most of these games, I don't know. If I was a developer, even if you're no, you're fine. I'd be we either need to find a different solution or get a different engine.
Yeah.
Which is both of which are very expensive to do.
Mm-hmm.
The Destiny story, by the way, shout out to Ben Swallow, Dandy Geek in the chat, for being my sounding board for a lot of that. Ben and I have talked extensively about the manners in which Destiny 2 has been mishandled. And this is just sort of like, I didn't want to get too deep into this. This is just sort of like an ongoing weird thing with Bungie, in that they don't actually like working with other people. Like they don't like being beholden to someone else's deadlines. When, there was a anecdote circulating that when the Activision split was announced, they were, popping off champagne and stuff at Bungie, which is the same thing that happened when they split from Microsoft, and they literally nailed up a declaration, with referencing 1776 about our own independence or whatever, and like champagne and cheers and everything. And there's a quote in Jason Schreier's book from a Microsoft exec basically being like, geez, what did we do to you?
Yeah.
Like the Microsoft people were like, I thought we'd work together very well. I mean, I get wanting to be independent, but like, ouch. And yeah, it's just like I get that there's a huge amount of goodwill behind Bungie, and I've always been a fan of their games. But like all the way back, like Marathon, Myth, Halo, Destiny, been a big fan. But like when you read about the development of the first Destiny, about like it was like, here's all the ideas that the designer had, and then how that all got turfed and mangled and turned around, and he got fired, and then they had to rebuild it, and they did the whole thing. They were like, well, we have all these assets, and we've signed this deal with Activision, so we got to deliver something, and they managed to get it pushed back a year and redid the whole thing 12 months out from launch, which is why it felt sort of barren and weird, and why they lost Peter Dinklage, because he was not meant to be like the voice of the game. He was just like your little robot friend, and then they were like, here's 1,000 voice lines. We wrote this in a day. And Dinklage was like,
oh, come on.
Wow, fuck you guys. All right. And did all his lines, and then was like, I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
It's just every little aspect of this. Them moving away from the people who were like, we would like you to release content regularly so that we can all make money, doesn't seem like it's going to be positive. It's very, very weird.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I guess we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, we'll see whether they immediately join up with another publisher, or like they did before.
Yeah, I don't know. Their news post was like, we understand there'll be many challenges in the realm of self-publishing. And it's like, well, yes, because you haven't done it since '98. But Myth 2, by the way, was the last game that they self-published. Oni was published by Gathering of Developers, and I think Eidos in Europe. I'm not sure. And then it was Halo. Then they got bought by Microsoft, and so
I'm expecting. Yeah, I'm expecting them to just like EA is the next big publisher for them to hook up with.
Yeah, exactly, Ben. Bungie had like explicitly in their deal with Activision, they had full creative control and they owned the IP.
Yeah,
and so,
and it's like, yeah, obviously Activision,
Yeah, I'm not saying Activision is currently being investigated for securities fraud, so I'm not saying they're great.
I mean, part of the reason they might have been annoyed about working with Microsoft is not necessarily the working, it's just that they didn't get, they probably didn't, well, I know they didn't own their IP, obviously, because then Microsoft was like, well, if you're leaving, 343 Studios is now making Halo.
Yeah.
Right.
And they might not have had as much creative control as
they also got an amazing, I didn't realize this, they got an amazing deal when they split with Microsoft, because Microsoft was like, okay, we're keeping Halo, and you finish the two other games that like you finished the two other Halo games, which was Reach and ODST. I think it was ODST. It was Halo. It was either Halo 3 and Reach or Reach and ODST. I'm not entirely sure. But you, Bungie, can keep the tech you've been working on for the last 7 years. You get to keep all your R&D, which was just bonkers.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's a really good deal. So anyway, yeah, it's a whole thing. So yeah, I don't know. Again, like NetEase, again, their deal with Activision was $500 million for the 10 years, and NetEase just invested $100 million.
Which
Probably
they couldn't
allowing
even
them
stick
to buy
out for
out
the
of
10
this
years.
deal.
Yeah, so Yeah, probably allowing them to buy out of this deal, which has got to be
And
great
maybe
for
hire
NetEase,
a
maybe.
bunch of people from other companies who know how to publish games.
Maybe.
So yeah, and yeah, the sort of idea of Bungie being kind of this little scrappy underdog is obviously very silly.
Not true. So yeah, there's a lot more that I could have gone into, obviously, but I tried to keep it as brief as I could. It's been bubbling for a while. Other stories.
Yes. Speaking of other stories and keeping things brief.
Hey, Blue Toad is actually in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe as a palette swap of Yellow Toad.
Who cares?
Checkmate, atheists.
It's the aspect of that that's odd.
People were annoyed that Blue Toad wasn't in.
I mean, Blue Toad is awesome. You know, Blue Toad definitely better than Yellow Toad.
Brief preface: New Super Mario Bros. U on the Wii U.
Yeah.
You go to Rescue Peach. There's 4 characters: Mario, Luigi, Yellow Toad, Blue Toad. In this one, you're going to Rescue Peach. The characters are Mario, Luigi, Yellow Toad, Toadette, who is like sort of easy mode because she can use the Super Crown to turn into Peachette, or Nabbit, who can't be hurt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Those are the 5
that's
characters.
for children.
Yeah, and people were like, but what about Blue Toad? My fave.
And then it found
That
out that
date
you
character.
can actually take Yellow Toad has a palette swap to Blue Toad.
Yeah. What's weird, though,
But yeah, the weird thing is, so there's 5 characters, and when you play multiplayer, like 4-player multiplayer, which you can, everyone has to play a different character, which used to be Mario, Luigi, Yellow Toad, Blue Toad,
who are the same.
who are all play the same. And now Mario, Luigi, and whatever color Toad are play all the same, but then one person has to either play Nabbit or Toadette,
Yeah.
who's like easy mode. So it's just odd to have. It's like you're force one of the 4 players to play either invincible or easy mode.
Think of it this way: we can one of those 4 players could be perhaps a certain small child.
I mean,
yeah.
well,
no,
yeah.
no, I can see great uses for it, but
It's just
why
odd.
Why
It's
is
just
it an option?
It's just odd that it's not optional.
Yeah. And why can't you just have it be Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Toad? But if someone wants to be Toadette or Nabbit, they could.
Yeah.
Hey, Fallout 76 has some news.
Yeah. 2 pieces of news.
Okay, so 1, rejoice. Bobby pins no longer weigh 60 times what an actual bobby pin weighs, so your inventory won't fill up quite as quickly if you're looking to pick some locks.
Traditionally, lock picks, as in bobby pins, didn't have a weight.
Yeah.
In Fallout.
Because they weigh practically nothing.
In Fallout 4, there was lots of
There's
stuff.
sort of way a rounding error.
In Fallout 4, bobby pins and ammo, most ammo, didn't really have weights. But because Fallout 76 is survival, everything has weights. But
I guess
bobby pins were so heavy.
Why is the light on that camera?
Oh, because the battery on that camera's about to die. But that's not the camera that we're using.
Okay, that's
it's
fine.
okay.
Just checking.
But yeah, so bobby pins were something like 60 bobby pins would be the same weight as like a mini nuke, which is silly.
The other Fallout 76 thing is that people somehow managed to find their way into the 76 dev room, which is basically a room with one of every item in the game in it.
Including like super ridiculously special items.
Yeah. And
some unreleased items.
and a weapon test dummy called Wooby.
Which is now, so there is one NPC in the game.
And so if you want to stop playing Fallout 76, go looking for the dev room, because if you find it and get your way in there, you get banned.
Yeah. And if you have any of the, and the trick is, if you have, there's a bunch of items that are in there that you can't get anywhere else, and people have been, selling them and stuff, for real money. But the problem is, it's really obvious that that's an item that you're not supposed to have, so you can get your account banned pretty easily.
Wait, did you say Wooby? Yes. Wooby.
That's what he's called.
Like Woody, but with a B.
Apparently, it's I don't know.
Wooby's
One of the articles I saw had a reference to Mr. Mom, which is a movie I haven't read, and they linked to a YouTube clip of a very young Michael Keaton trying to get his son to burn his security blanket. I'm like, what was wrong with movies in the 80s? Leave your child alone, he'll grow out of it. Oh my God.
All kinds of things were wrong with movies in the 80s.
Christ.
Yes, and luckily, in the year 2000 or 2010, no movies have anything that's objectionable in them.
Speaking of things that are objectable, a Fortnite YouTuber dabbed for 10 hours and made $2,000. I'm glad that was a good use of his time.
Apparently, he's having some shoulder pain.
Now,
'Cause he was-
question: Did he hold the dab, or was he dabbing
it's back and forth.
See,
It's back and forth.
It's dangerous.
I don't know if I'd do that for $10,000. I'm an old, frail lady.
$2,000.
$2,000.
I don't think it's worth it. 10 hours.
10 hours for $2,000.
Well, hold on, though. That's like...
$1,000.
It's what it
It's
is.
like $200 an hour.
What it is
Maybe my time is worth that
there is an
much.
emote in Fortnite that's called the Infinite Dab.
Right.
That's like an emote that dabs for 10 hours. And so he did it along with the
I
emote.
see.
He's got a cute debitus.
Yes.
He needs to call Shark and Remora.
I forgot about that.
What else we got going on here? Oh, the Nintendo Switch Online system.
Yes.
So if you don't know, this is instead of the virtual console like releases where they're like, here's old Nintendo games for like $5 each that are tied to your system. Now they're doing this online thing where it's $20 a year
yeah.
subscription service, which as subscription services go is pretty dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And then you get access to
they
the
just-
full library of NES games which they have released.
They just raised the price of Netflix in Canada.
I know. It's a hell of a lot more than $20 a year, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But the so they've and I think they're at 33 games now. But they're saying what's interesting about it is that unlike Nintendo's YouTube channel, for instance, where they do announcements, everything, people like all the announcements and stuff, except for these announcements of like what the latest.
Here's the 5 games this month.
Yeah,
massive dislikes.
Massive down. I think it's 3 games every month they
Yeah.
do, and there's always massive amounts of downvotes. But the reason for the downvotes are like mutually exclusive. Some of them, like some people are downvoting because they don't like the games that were released. Some are downvoting because they don't like the fact that it's only NES games that are being released, that they're not releasing like newer stuff. Some people are downvoting that they're not releasing more games, even though they're actually releasing them on a faster schedule than they did the virtual console ones.
Yep.
And some people are downvoting because the whole concept of the like subscription thing, they would prefer to pay $5 per game instead of the $20 a year.
Also, sometimes
subscription thing.
It's like these 3 games, one of which is in Japanese and you can only get in Japan.
Unless you make a Japanese
a Japanese eShop account and do it's which you can do. It's just annoying.
Yeah. So basically, it's one of those things where people are annoyed, but for all different reasons. And there's no possible way that Nintendo can sort of satisfy all of them unless they just released every game. But obviously, they can't do that for various licensing reasons, among other things. And then, probably some people are downvoting because they just want to be part of the team.
Because people got to hate on something, and it moves around. The laser just sort of moves about what game or company people are getting mad at. It just jumps. The Elite Dangerous 8-month space expedition has begun.
And immediately crashed all the servers.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that there was like
a lot of people.
8,000 people all tried to jump at the same time.
Oh, no.
And so, which immediately crashed all the servers. So not a super auspicious beginning to the expedition, but I think they got it worked. They're getting it worked out.
I mean, I guess I appreciate a whole, the theater of a countdown, but I feel like they should have considered that might have happened. What if we go in shifts? What? No, everyone go at once. All right.
Yeah, everyone whose ship starts with the letter A goes now.
Hey, how's Star Citizen doing? I don't know. No new update.
That's fine. Well, I'm sure we'll hear more from them later.
Yeah. But the Distant Stars thing is going to be like 8 months, so they have time to work it out.
Yeah.
And it's going to theoretically the ships are all going like slightly different speeds, so they'll all kind of extend out over the course of the thing.
And here's a Gamasutra article. The Entertainment Software Association and the World Health Organization met up last month to discuss the classification of gaming disorder as an entry in the International Compendium of Diseases, and have tentative plans to meet up and discuss about the classification later this year. They haven't said that it is. They're discussing if it should be.
Well, it is. It's in the draft.
Yeah.
Which came out last year. And like a whole bunch of like video game companies and gaming organizations have sort of filed their official protests about it.
Yeah. What is gaming disorder? I've certainly met some people who are really mad at me in video games. Are they disorderly? No, I mean, yeah, but not for this.
Drunk and disorderly.
It's an addiction-focused entry alongside gambling. They describe it as a pattern of behavior in which persons lack control over their gaming habits and play to the extent that the activity overtakes their interests, personal life, and well-being.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's, to me, it doesn't seem like something that needs to be called out separately from, like, for instance, like spending all your money on loot boxes is just gambling disorder. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't seem like something that needs to be, like, called out separately from just other disorder, like just just general disorder.
It does spark memories of sort of like, ooh, games are coming for your children, kind of, that kind of sort of anti-video game pearl-clutching panic. But I guess there's also at a certain point, it's like, well, why are gambling and alcohol different if they're both addictions? So I guess that they're just like, yeah, gaming also.
I had a tissue here and I don't know where it went.
You put it away.
Yeah, and now it's gone.
You need to excuse yourself for a moment?
I'll be fine.
The other aspect of it is, and why there's sort of this big push is because, of course, it's one of these things where if it gets added to the diagnostic criteria, that can have quite a profound long-term effect on how things are prescribed. Like even if it later gets taken away or changed, the adding it at all can have a really long-term effect. Can get a whole bunch of people.
You found it.
A whole bunch of people might be categorized or sort of not necessarily miscategorized, but categorized in a way that is not actually useful. So I don't know.
Original Garwolf, hey, what's up? Says, I've written on this subject in the EverQuest Companion. The problem is for a long time now, mental health professionals would not even acknowledge it was possible to become addicted to a video game.
Interesting.
I mean,
fair enough.
I feel like you can get addicted to almost anything.
Like I guess I don't really see it as different from like a television addiction or an addiction to any sort of
like media consumption
thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe addicted is the wrong word. You can become unhealthily focused and fixated on anything, whether that's doing a video game, watching TV, eating healthily is a real big one. That's like a thing that like.
Right. Yeah.
And then those can lead to other more specific disorders.
I mean, and maybe there maybe there is advantage to it.
Video games can trigger your brain's reward mechanism in a way watching TV doesn't.
That's true because it's interactive.
Fair.
I guess I don't see. I don't necessarily see a benefit to making all those like addictions to different things. To have so much specificity when it's basically the same behavior, just a different reason for it.
Again, it's currently just a draft, so we'll see what the WHO comes back with.
Yeah, none of us are mental health professionals, so take our opinions with a huge grain of salt.
Speaking of a different
but
WHO...
not too much salt. Don't get addicted to taking salt.
Speaking of a different WHO, this is not game news, but they announced their first studio album for the first time in 13 years.
Woo! Who?
Are you into the
band
WHO?
on stage.
Not really.
Who?
No? Okay.
Not fans of the whom.
The what?
The what?
Anyway, that's all the stories that we had, so... everything that we had written down is something we wanted to mention, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked through, that's all of them.
Yeah, kids, don't dab for 10 hours in a row.
Yeah, it'll hurt your arms.
Yeah.
So, let's do the subs, and then you should come back in a little over 2 hours for Dice Friends, which will be on twitch.tv/DND.
But we'll be hosting it here.
We'll be hosting it here, but this channel will not send out a ping to remind you. So you have to remind yourselves, take responsibility.
And here's the deal. If you're like, there's new Dice Friends? Yeah, it started last week.
You have just enough time between now and then to watch the first episode.
Exactly, because it's just under 2 hours. It is a romp through Ravnica. It is about how the sausage is made. Very, very literally. Not everything in Ravnica is high stakes, life or death, planeswalkers, very fate of the world at hand. Sometimes it's a bunch of people who are like, actually, we could make our food safety laws a little better. And that's the whole point of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Foxmar, I mean, the Destiny thing was sort of all-encompassing. The most recent piece of content is like a multi-stage puzzle, and no one could figure out the last stage.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Bungie got, like, shitty about it on their social media. They were like, well, it's for the best and brightest. And then they something even scummier than that, and then they actually deleted that tweet, and people were like, well, how are we supposed to do this? And they're like, well, if you're not playing all day every day, I just don't see what the problem is.
It's like,
and then they were
off,
like,
I got a life.
Also the solution for level 7 might not have actually been in the game.
It turns out we by mistake deleted a string that was supposed to be there.
Yeah. Whoops. So
I don't know why people are so dumb. And then they
see previous Destiny story.
And then they put that. Then they like gave people a thing, and like immediately people got it.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah.
All right, let's welcome.
Yeah, let's move on to the subs
during the stream, starting with Nomi77 for 26 months. Thank you very much.
What did Beast put in the pie? Gifted by Farrowbender27. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, Prophet X05 has been here for 12 whole months. That's 1 year. Thank you for your support.
Godort. Godort. For 21 months. Thank you very much.
Lady Sephiroth, 2-month resub. Welcome back.
Oh my gosh, it's Jay Karkov. Who's been here for 64 months. That is so long. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jay Karkov.
MTV CDM for 51 months. Thank you so much.
What's up, mods?
Woo.
Stella Pacifica, 44-month resub. Welcome back.
Hey, Null Rush, 60 months. That's 5 years. 5 straight years. Thank you so much for your support.
Just not Dave.
Then who?
I don't know, but it's not Dave. He's not here. 25 months.
The Metalupus, 61 months. Welcome back.
Masta2505 has been here for 10 months. Thank you very much.
Day04. Day04. For 19 months.
Me say Mattman X311. No, it doesn't work. 28 months. Welcome back. Thank you so much.
Onyx Seeker has been looking for 6 months. Hope you find whatever you're looking for. I guess Onyx. It's very precious.
Onyx turns into Steelix.
Systemic Sammy for 15 months. Thank you very much.
Thrown to Wolves. I hope your day improves. 56-month reset. Welcome back.
Joseph Dalepie Joseph Dalepie is a brand new subscriber. Thank you so much for joining this good community.
Chi7891 for 13 months. Thank you very much.
Syracnos, 26-month reset. Welcome back.
Hey, D-Dubs. D-Dubs, 28 months.
Cyplix8 is a new subscriber. Welcome.
Space Potato 1, 42 months. Welcome back.
Hey, your friend and mine, Taste the Beams, has been tasting beams for 23 months, and they're still okay, so
delicious.
Click away.
Lance Cross for 60 months. That's 5 years.
Woo.
Very nice.
And thanks for 151 bits from Earthen One and Lord Crusher. Yay. Tomorrow, real quick, on 9 o'clock, it's Vanilla Minecraft with James, Surge, and Uno. New Day Tuesday, Adam is checking out the remaster of Onimusha Warlords, which I'm very excited about. Onimusha. James is doing PUBG on One More at 3 p.m. And then tomorrow night on Talking Simulator, Cameron and Corey are going to be looking at XCOM UFO Defense.
Not
That's
the
old XCOM.
Yeah, not current XCOM.
That's old XCOM.
That old XCOM.
Old XCOM. It's
So.
Onimusha now. Stop. don't
and
like that.
wanted to mention if you see on Twitter, we decided on the topic, the category for games of chance for this week because we had the PPR and stuff. We hadn't actually come up with the topic yet.
Oh, right.
So we got the topic, and that is Lego games.
Ooh.
As in games from like the Lego universe.
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
turns out to be like a
lot
of games. It's like, what? There can only be like 2 or 3 of those.
No, there's dozens.
There's
probably.
like there's pages in the Steam.
They're actually really, really cute, and I like they make surprisingly good and generally harmless jokes within the, because they like retell the movies, and they do sort of like some subtle sort of like parody almost of moments in the thing, but in like a respectful way, but that's also actually funny and not just sort of like, haha, yeah, I get it. At least the ones I've seen, they're kind of impressive.
Is Canada a Legos place or a never Legos place?
Definitely a Legos place.
Is it?
I think so. We all played with Legos as children.
Oh, you mean?
No. Whether you say Legos or Lego.
I always say Lego as a plural.
Yeah, I had kids a lot. I had Lego as a kid.
Yeah.
And I never used the S on
I
it.
have a box of Lego. It is full of many pieces of Lego.
Yeah.
I can't wait till
But
Penelope's old enough to play with Lego. Yeah, it's Lego.
From what I understand, there is much debate one way or another. But you know what?
I believe according to the official Lego people, it is supposed to be a one of them things that just can be pluralized.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for joining us. We're going to take off, and we'll see you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Wait, Paul's got a... Oh, we threw to the end way too fast.
I did not.
Hey, everybody, let's all do some rapping because Paul's got to do a thing. God, I can't do triples.
Boom, boom, clap. Oh, you can't do the Migos flow?
Oh, no. Hey, everybody, Paul's got to cut the stream. No, I can't do it. I can't rap. I'm the whitest lady, and it's like, hey, everybody, my name is Kathleen, and I'm here to say the stream is going to end one of these days.
In a major way.